Hello, everybody. We were unable to meet today for the Universal Screener conversation that we were going to have, so this is a quick run through of what we were going to talk about. We'll still go into more detail on this when we do meet in January, but I just wanted to kind of explain some of the slides here, and you do have access to these slides as well that I've shared with you earlier today. So we're going to talk about 6th through 9th grade Universal Screener going forward, and we would make this change. If we do make a change, it would take place starting in the fall of 2020. Here's our objectives when we get together. We're going to try to reach consensus on the assessment that works best for us and on when we're going to administer that. Here's the purpose of universal screeners in Shakopee. There are many uses for it, but we really want to lock in on what is the purpose of it in Shakopee. Number one, it's part of a comprehensive system of assessments as defined by MDE. So if you click on that link, it'll take you to a document that was created by MDE that talks about informal formative assessments, formal formative assessments, classroom summative assessments, interim assessments, and then standardized summative assessments. Interim assessments is what we're talking about with MAP and FAST, and then standardized summative assessments. That would be the MCA test. Another purpose that we have is the multi-tiered system of supports, student identification and tracking. It's for programs like ADSYS, which is an intervention program, and we get funding from the state for our ADSYS students. It's for other interventions that we have in place, and it's also for identifying high potential in the elementary and then advanced courses for the secondary. This also informs parents and students across grade levels, and it can also inform instruction. So starting off, I want to look at MAP, and this will just be a quick review that I would do with MAP, and it kind of gives some fairly neutral, just this is what MAP is. And if you go ahead and click on this link or these links, you could find the different reports that are most or seem to be most useful for MAP, at least from student or teachers that have talked about them in our district. You'll also see that MAP has substrand scores, and it's about $12.50 per student for the year, and they get all the tests that they need to take at that price. That's a total for the whole year. So whether they take it once or if they take 6 tests, it's still going to be that standard $12.50 for the student. And then it's supposed to take about 60 to 70 minutes per test, but as we found is that it actually takes a little bit longer than that on average. Some kids take a lot longer, and some kids do take shorter. But 60 to 70 is probably a little lower than what it's actually taking for students in our district. The FAST test, you can see there's more information there, which is why the font ended up being smaller. It's a newer product. We do use FAST for kindergarten through 5th grade in Shakopee. We did some piloting the last couple of years, and then this is the first full year of implementation of FAST in Shakopee for all kindergarten through 5th grade. They currently are taking it fall, winter, and spring in 1st through 5th grade, and then kindergarten, it's an optional test. Each school gets to determine if they are going to give that FAST test in kindergarten. You can see there are 3 reports there, and this is what we would actually go into depth in when we do get together and what those reports look like and how they can be useful. FAST does not have substrand scores, and hearing from the elementary, that's the one thing that they miss the most from MAP is having the substrand scores. Progress monitoring tool in reading is something that FAST has. There's also a social emotional learning monitoring tool that's called SABRS. Yes, that's spelled correctly. I know that it's spelled differently than our mascot, but SABRS, that's how it's actually spelled. And it is, again, a social emotional learning monitoring tool that could be used if we had FAST. It's $7 per student for the year, and it's about 20 to 30 minutes per test. We are finding that 20 to 30 minutes is accurate for the most part. And then the $7 per student for the year obviously is much less. Just one quick little word of caution. A lot of times newer products will charge less, and then once you've had them in place for a couple, 3 years, then the price starts to go up. I don't know that that'll happen, but just something that we want to make sure we keep our minds on as we go forward. This particular chart right here is for FAST. What I really want to point out here was just this correlation coefficient along this side. what it does is it just talks about how accurate the FAST test is in predicting how the student will do on the MCA test in Minnesota. So that correlation coefficient, anything above like a 0.6 or 0.7 is a strong correlation, or it says that that's a good predictor. You can see the correlation scores are high, which is good. But then also you'll notice the middle school, they haven't done piloting on as many students. So you'll see that while the correlation is good, it's not based on a huge sample size. MAP has a similar chart that they have, and they also have it's a good connector to MCA. The linking is, you find that it's pretty accurate. If a student does well on the MAP test, that they're going to do well on the MCA test as well. So what we'll do when we get together is, once we've kind of gone through those other slides in more depth, turn and talk with an elbow partner, and then we'll talk about which system you prefer and why. And then if we do, kind of as a little side note, if we do change to FAST, I would like to do a couple of pilot classes in the winter just to make sure that what we're going to buy is something that we are comfortable with. And obviously if we stay with MAP, then we'll stay with MAP. The next thing we want to do is talk about fall, winter, and spring. This is something where we'll kind of open it up, and we'll probably do a little bit of think, pair, share, or some GOILs here, where we'll talk as in smaller groups about the advantages of each of the seasons, and then we'll kind of come together and try to come to a consensus on which of those seasons we are going to administer the test, and then also, or if we want to administer in more than one, we could do that as well. Here's where we'll make that decision after we've brainstormed some of the advantages. And then again, if we change to FAST, we'll do a pilot class. All right, if you have any questions before then, please let me know. My phone number is 952-496-5022. Have a great holiday break, and thank you very much.